Welcome to Operations Unfiltered, the podcast that takes you behind the scenes of influencer and talent management. I'm your host and your favorite marketing project manager girly, Zuryna. Today we're talking about everybody's favorite topic, money. But not just any money. We're talking all about NIL. And for those of you who are sick of acronyms, NIL stands for name, image, and likeness. It's where college athletes and even some high school athletes can turn their personal brand into real income. It's honestly just a fancy way to describe content creators and influencing, but specifically for athletes. The problem is the business of NIL is booming, but the financial literacy part, it still has some catching up to do. That's where today's guest comes in handy. I'm joined by Drew Hawkins, founder of EduCore. EduCore is an organization dedicated to helping athletes, entertainers, and professionals make smarter financial decisions and build long-term wealth. In this conversation, we're chatting all about what NIL deals actually look like for young athletes and how financial education can turn that moment of opportunity into lasting success. So, without further ado, let's get into this week's episode of Operations Unfiltered. Thank you so much for joining me. Drew Hawkins, founder and president of EduCore. Tell us a little bit about the origin story. Where did it all start? I know you had a long career at Morgan Stanley as one of the first African-American managing directors in wealth management, but what inspired you to take this leap into EduCore, and what is EduCore?
So, first of all, thank you for having me. A pleasure to be here and have this conversation with you today. Background, Baltimore born and bred, native, excited to be from this area and have an opportunity to relocate back to Maryland about 12 years ago. I had a 28-year career on Wall Street. I started out as a non-paid intern with a company called Dean Witter back in the day. That went well. Internships are very important. So for any young people that are out there listening, take them seriously because you never know where they could provide you opportunities and where you end up. And my internship that was non-paid for 2 years ended up being what culminated into a 28-year career at one organization. I started as a financial advisor, worked my way, had a variety of different roles in management and senior management. And I'd always enjoyed educating and teaching people about the importance of investing. And that started off early in my career as a financial advisor. My parents were not wealthy. My parents were both smart, educated people, but just did not have a concept of how investing worked. And so I was actually the first financial advisor that they met in life. And
Wow.
yeah, and early on, I did a lot of work in churches on Saturdays, giving free educational seminars for folks that I knew probably wouldn't be my clients, but could take my information and utilize it in a variety of other areas, and really demystifying a lot of the myths that folks that look like myself had growing up around money, and that you needed $1 million to start, or you invest your money in something and a good chance you lose it overnight. And I think that really stuck with me, and seeing how folks in sports and entertainment just dealt with financial things, and you just continuously read about the horror stories of this bad situation, that bad situation. And when starting the global sports and entertainment division at Morgan Stanley, one of the things that we were able to do is provide some education. But at the end of the day, it's a large for-profit organization, and revenues, assets are the focus. And so upon my leaving Morgan Stanley after 28 years and great career, learned a lot, did a lot of wonderful things, I wanted to have an opportunity to continue to work in this space, but be able to focus on some things that I just knew were apparent that could not be achieved where I was prior. And that was really to focus in on the educational side of things, because whether it's someone being taken advantage of, whether it's someone, just not understanding how the game is played, the system has been fundamentally flawed for years as it relates to being able to educate those in sports and entertainment about how to deal with their financial and business affairs, and being able to take things that I learned, experiences that I had at Morgan Stanley, and building divisions that I built there from scratch. I was able to utilize a lot of those skills and techniques, and doing my research, putting together a business plan, understanding who the audience would be, and being able to translate that into the organization that we've created now in EduCore.
I love the mission and vision, and I did my research, and that's what drew me to this organization. Fun fact, I came to learn about this organization through the Associated Black Charities Board Leadership Pipeline Program. So
Great
that's where
organization.
yes, can't speak highly enough about that organization. So that's where I learned more about the mission and vision, and that's what really drew me to you because, like you, there's not a lot of Black people or brown people in the finance or wealth management arena. So to see someone who has such a long-standing career is really inspiring. And then specifically that your focus is on that sports industry, that's something that's really needed. I mean, we've all seen those horror stories where they lose everything. But is there one particular gap that you're looking to close with the model that you have at Educor? And if so, what is that gap that you've seen specifically within that sports field?
It's so broad-based. Some sports I think are impacted a bit more than others.
Mhm.
And again, it just goes back to the educational side of things. Our country does not do a great job of showing the importance of financial education and financial literacy. And candidly, it's something that should be part of every elementary school curriculum, middle school curriculum, high school curriculum, and then there should be something that needs to be done for kids to be able to graduate from college, having
Yeah.
gone through and been able to do that. And so when you look at the fact that that doesn't exist, and then you think about those in sports and entertainment, and especially on the sports side, the careers are very short-lived, and
Yeah.
individuals get large sums of money at periods of time when they are the most ill-equipped to be able to understand and being able to deal with it. And so I would say, obviously, when you think of the professional sports, there's a lot more that can and should be done there that
Hmm.
we work with and being able to address. But now that name, image, and likeness is here, and you have not only college students being paid, but now in
Yeah.
35 states, high school students have an opportunity to get paid now. It's imperative that we're providing the level of education and support for the families and the student athletes to learn what needs to be done in terms of the rules and regulations of the system, the do's and don'ts, but
Hmm.
then to start to think about the fact that I know when I graduated from college, I had no money. I had
Yeah.
the money that I was given from graduation gifts in my bank account, and knock on wood, luckily I didn't have any student debt. But, these students now are getting large sums of money,
Yes.
and to impart in their heads and in their parents' heads that this is not guaranteed. They're not guaranteed to
Mhm.
go to the NBA or the NFL or WNBA. And so to understand some of the things that need to be done in terms of surrounding themselves with the right people, putting some discipline in place as it relates to spending and
Yeah.
saving, and realizing that next season is a promise to you. But if you've got an opportunity to make some money and put it away and live frivolously, this is going to provide an opportunity for individuals to really come out on in a great position when they graduate. They're still going to need to work and get a job and go do the things that they need to do, but having a little bit of a nest egg and a little bit of a head start to get through that process. And that's why the educational programs that we provide and the coaching programs that
Yeah.
we provide are so important for the parents and the students to be able to take
Yes.
advantage of and to take seriously and utilize.
I love that so much. I'm a manager for content creators, and just like the rise of NILs, there's such a boom in content creation and the amount of money that these young kids are getting from deals. I mean, I've seen $20,000 to post a pack of gum. I've seen
Yep.
5,000 to come taste food at a restaurant. So I truly understand the importance and the necessity that financial resources and financial literacy, especially in the entertainment realm, and with the rise of NIL deals, what advice do you give to parents or young athletes to ensure that people are not just signing opportunities, but they're actually sustaining their financial futures?
It's a great question. Number one, you've got to educate yourselves as much as you can and as early as you can. I had a mom reach out to me 2 weeks ago through a connection, and mother is really smart, really successful. Dad is really smart, really successful. Son, really smart, really successful. And this is a high school family, and they are
Mhm.
being very proactive early on because the son is now being courted with NIL opportunities. And
Absolutely.
they're getting themselves familiar with the process, but they're also looking now at bringing people in that could provide them with some help and support and guidance. they're getting contracts put in front of them now. Well, if you're not a lawyer and don't understand all the legalities and legalese as it relates to it, you've got to bring somebody in that has the capability to do that. And it's so important to find qualified people that you can trust, that you have been vetted or come through some kind of vetted source to be able to help provide you with the assistance that's needed now. Because as much as I am excited about this situation, I look at other situations that I'm engaged with that
Yeah.
unfortunately people were introduced to folks or met folks on their own. Opportunities arose. Folks dangled sums of money or other trinkets in front of them. And
Hmm.
to a young kid, they're going to sign because it seems exciting and the right thing to do. And
Yeah, my grandmother always said all money ain't good money.
yeah. And what sounds like it could be a good opportunity at its face value, having someone who's got a level of experience and expertise in that space evaluated, obviously can put things into a completely different perspective and let you know what's missing, what should be included, and what to sign and what not to sign that's out there. So I know that at times people are in compromising financial situations, and
Absolutely.
that sum of money sounds really good now. And let's face it, these are sums of money that a lot of families have never seen all at once. But it's
Absolutely.
important to make sure that decisions are being made now that are going to be in everybody's best interest for down the road. And that's when I use my acronym for NIL, now impacts later.
Oh, I love
So
that.
being
Now
able to
impacts
take
later.
advantage of things and doing things now that are going to set you up for success down the road are really critical.
We talked a lot about the resources and the philosophy that EduCore has, but can you speak a little bit to the specific services that you offer and what sets you apart from other nonprofits or organizations that offer similar services to you?
Yeah, thank you. So EduCore, it's the people ask where the name came from, and it's a combination of three words, educating you and core. And
Mm,
educating you is the core of what we do. So everything that we do has an educational component to it. And when you think of the company, our whole focus is to educate, equip, and empower those in sports and entertainment to have a better understanding and to be able to deal with their business, financial, and lifestyle affairs in a different manner. We look at these individuals not just as an athlete or not just as an entertainer, but like it or not, they are all CEOs of
yes,
multi-million dollar businesses. And in
yes,
order to be a CEO, you have to run the business, you have to select qualified people and vet qualified people, and then bring them in to help you do the things that you need to do as relates to that. And so our company kind of focuses on a couple of different areas around the whole financial education and mental wellness component of it. That's really where we take a complicated, intimidating topic and
yeah,
make it less complicated and less intimidating, because this money's not an easy thing to talk about. And when you've
mhm,
not had it or been around it, and when you think about the people that are in this arena that have been
mhm,
super successful, they don't want to look vulnerable. They don't want to look like they don't know what they don't know. Oftentimes, you just pass it on, let somebody else deal with it, or shake your head, nod your head, answering questions that you know doggone well you don't know the answers to. And so
exactly.
we have a fun approach where we take the intimidating factors out of it. We break it down and put things into perspectives that meet people where they are and they can understand. We don't like to use a lot of Wall Street investment jargon, but really making it relevant for people so that they can grasp and understand the different concepts and things that we're having conversation about. We like to use former pro athletes and former
Yes,
entertainers and current entertainers in some of our programs because it provides an opportunity for storytelling and for them
mhm,
to bring in real life stories and situations in terms of some of the things that we're talking about. And then we will use our subject matter expert slash facilitator to bring it home and provide the teaching points so that not only did you hear what a player did and did incorrectly and the fact that it had a negative outcome or had a positive outcome, but let's talk about what are the things that you need to do now in order to be able to go out and put these things in place and be able to get those done. And
I'm
so,
a marketing project manager and I specialize in making sure that people have the right people, processes, and tools to be successful. So hearing this in a specialized field, a niche for athletes and entertainers. I love hearing it. And I heard you mention that you want people to think of themselves as CEOs, but I also want them to think of themselves as project managers because it
Mhm.
sounds like what you're doing is a risk analysis. So I love that. And you're giving
Do.
people multiple jobs that they can do outside of the athletic arena, right? You're
Exactly.
empowering them to massage those tools to be a CEO or entrepreneur
Mhm.
or to be a project manager. So I love those cross-functional tools that you guys are emphasizing and also emphasizing that storytelling because again, as a marketing project manager, the way of social media now is storytelling, leaning into those UGCs and leaning into those personal anecdotes that people can really resonate with. And for the social media scene for EduCore, what does that look like? And how are you guys leaning into that to further propel your message? Because I know that so many people could benefit, but it all depends on the right marketing and social media mix. So just talk a little bit about what that looks like for EduCore.
Definitely. So being from an older generation, I have not been one that has been super social media savvy in terms of utilizing in my personal space, but it is one that obviously we've adopted to and we utilize for purposes of the work that we're doing here and continuing to evolve in a lot of different ways. And in our platform, it provides us an opportunity to be able to share thought leadership, share perspectives on things, be able to comment on things that we're seeing that are out there that are taking place real world in real time, and being able to tie that back into lessons learned or things that people could have utilized or taken from a specific situation as it relates to it. We try to make it relevant for obviously our audience and client
Yeah.
base, for the people that bring us in to do the work as it relates to it. So that's evolving in a pretty significant manner now as we're looking at our demographics change even more so, going younger at the collegiate and pre-collegiate levels, but making it fun and entertaining and interesting, but also a value and utilizing that to hopefully drive people's attention to the topic and to the importance of getting lit and staying lit around
Yeah.
these topics that are there. And we utilize that little tagline because it's important to understand how things work, but also to stay informed because things change on a regular basis when you think about the dynamics of what happens in finance and, how these things interact and impact the people that we work with on a regular basis.
No, for sure. And I appreciate you sharing all of that. I think for me, what I really appreciate is those stories, those personal anecdotes. Do you foresee working with influencers to further propel the EduCore mission? And by influencers, I mean the NIL athletes that we talked about, maybe inviting them to be content creators for your brand. Is that something that you guys see doing in the horizon?
100% actually working with our marketing team now and
Love it.
and working with some of our clients now that are actually student athletes and their families and kind of creating our own NIL situations for
Oh,
them
I love
where
it.
in exchange for our services and advice and coaching, they will have an opportunity to talk about the experiences and what they're looking at, dealing with, and bringing them onto the platform to make it real life for folks that are out there and listening.
Oh, I can't wait. I have a pro athlete mom who I want to connect you with. So
Great. Nope.
stay
Would
on the
love to
scene
bring her
for
on.
that.
Would
Yes.
love to do
But
that.
the logistics side of things, like I told you, I'm a project manager. I want to know how you, who are sitting at the helm of this business, how do you keep yourself organized? What tools, systems, or routines do you have? Are you a iCalendar person or are you a pen and paper type of person?
I am actually both. Again,
Okay, love it.
I'm old school, and I am. You can see that I still live with the legal
Ah,
pad, and I live with the journal, but do a lot of stuff via calendar. And so our executive assistant supports us in a lot of ways. But it is one of the things that I struggle and am challenged with. Having been in corporate America for so long and running significant businesses there, I had the fortune of having a team of people
yeah.
did things for me and senior people, really smart people where you could delegate and allocate, et cetera. And
Mhm.
leaving that environment and then coming into becoming an entrepreneur, woo, it's a
Yeah.
big difference in what you had and then what you have to do now. And being a small company in a unique space, it is a bit of a juggling act, thinking about the activities from a day-to-day basis and really
Mhm.
just trying to keep everything moving on as you need to, because there's the business development side of things and being able to
Yes.
have the contacts and conversations and attending certain things that you need to in the follow-up. And then you've got the content creation side in terms of
Yep.
creating fun and exciting programs that we go out and have the ability to deliver in the marketplace. And it's staying on top of current events that are relevant that we need to be aware of and educated about, which helps to influence the decisions and information that we provide for the individuals that are there. And then all the other things that are connected
It's
related to
never
running a
ending.
business. It is never ending. So I've not figured it out yet. I'm still a work in progress as it relates to trying to stay as organized and keeping things prioritized that need to be done and what's kind of coming up next. So yeah, I'm still working on that, but
It's an ever evolving
it is.
process. I feel like that's what I'm hearing.
It
And
is.
all of the things that you have going on, I always ask this of my guests. Do you share this information online? And if so, do you consider yourself to be an influencer or a content creator or both? And if so, why?
I think a little bit of both. I think a little bit more in on the influencer side
Mm-hmm.
because what we're doing is a bit unique. And the reality is my company probably shouldn't exist because what we're addressing should have been figured out and dealt with a long time ago.
Yeah.
And there's one thing to go in to an organization and get in front of people and give them a little of information, but then there's a big sale that's pending on the other side, and that's really your motivation for being there. It's another thing
Hmm.
where you're there to purely educate and provide them with the tools and resources that they need to move forward in this particular area. And that's what makes us different and distinct is the fact that we're not there trying to get in their pockets on the other end and selling them something and giving them a little bit of education up front. But our focus is on putting them in a better position to be successful while they're in their sport and career and well beyond that. Everybody likes to use the term generational wealth
Yes.
transfer. Well, you can't transfer something that you don't have. And we
Oh,
have so many
clock it.
folks that come out of the sport, okay, and they're broke or they have financial issues, and there's nothing to be able to pass on. And so providing them with the information and really challenging them and opening their eyes to things that they need to be aware of and do now and have to get done now is really important for us. Because when you think about it, average NFL career, and NFL stands for not for long,
Yes.
6 years. Average
Yeah.
NBA career span is 4.5 years.
Wow.
I just did rookie transition program training for the NBA a few weeks ago, and the average rookie in the incoming class this year was 19 years old. And so
Wow.
you
A
think
baby
about,
for all intents and
baby, yes,
purposes.
can't go out and buy a drink legally in most
Yeah.
places. And so when you think about them being 19, 20 years old, average career length is 4 years. Everybody's not going to get to that second and third and fourth contract. Everybody's not going to
Yeah.
have the longevity that LeBron has in terms of being able to play now until
Not
his.
only that, people don't have the discipline that he had. Like
Nope,
that
exactly.
discipline is you can't train that. Oh my
No,
goodness.
you can't.
I love the mission and values and vision that you have. I would love to see from your visionary brain in the next 10 years when you look back at EduCore,
Mhm.
what do you hope that you will be remembered for beyond just the financial literacy part?
So it's being able to come in and be a game changer. It's being
Mhm.
that company that came in and was a disruptor to a degree because we put ourselves in that category and in that status. There are folks that are out here that would like for players to be ignorant and not understand
Yes.
how things work and operate because that puts them in a more controlling position over them. And this is a movement. It's myself, it's other organizations that are doing somewhat similar work. It's people within these organizations that are tasked with helping folks like this. And I think collectively over time, bringing things together, we can really make a true impact on what's taking place. But I want us to be known as that entity that came in, was really focused on the educational side and making people smarter and putting them in better positions to deal with and handle their business and affairs and being able to look at those success stories that, are going to have existed down the road where had it not been for someone having exposure to a program or a session or a conversation, they may not be in the positive situation that they are in. And it's giving us a lot of pride and joy. And I don't say this in a corny way, but when we can walk away knowing that something was done, something was heard, something was said that an individual was able to take back and utilize in their lives, that's really where our aha moments come in. And we've had a couple of really cool aha moments in the past couple of months of some bad situations that we were brought into, and we were luckily able to kind of get them corrected and ended up with positive outcome, but also for the individuals now that were in those positions to be in a completely different mindset and
Yeah.
understanding of how things work and how they operate, and knowing that those types of things will not happen to those people again.
Oh, I love that. It sounds like you want to be a disruptor, and I love
We
that. I
are.
feel like
We are.
we need some disruptors.
Yep. And you talked about it earlier in terms of some of the risk analysis. And so one of the things that we offer is obviously we do a lot of the financial education and mental wellness training work, but we also have a process that we created that we call FinFit. And
Hmm.
FinFit stands for financial fitness. And so
Okay.
give a simple analogy. You and I can walk around all year long, look good, feel good, exercise, kind of eat right, do the things that we think we're supposed to do, and feel healthy. But we really don't know what is going on until we go get that annual physical exam. And
Yeah, until you look under the hood, you don't
under the
know.
hood. Yep,
Everything is surface level. Oh, I love that.
exactly. And
So
so
if
when you,
I was a high school coach and I have
Mhm,
a lot of players on my team with
mhm,
potential, or I'm a college coach, for
mhm.
example, University of Maryland, how could I work with EduCore? What would that relationship look like?
Sure, great question. So it's being able to bring us in, having a conversation, analyzing what it is that you're doing now as a school or university, and what some of your goals and objectives are as it relates to programming and some of the skill sets that you want to make sure are passed down to your players. Our programs are customized. They're very focused on where individuals are and what they need. And having been in this game for a bit now, we've kind of got a checklist of what we have put together for,
Yeah.
what a college athlete should have in place now. And being able to come in and evaluate that and talk about that and providing them with the things that they need to look for when they're putting together their team, putting together their budget, trying to get their credit established. So there are
Hmm.
a variety of things that we call foundational items that should be put in order. And we work with universities and pre-universities to be able to come in, meet with the players, take them through some of the programming in the sessions, and then providing them with some also one-on-one coaching and one-on-one support outside of the main room to help them get some of these things done. And it's imperative now that the schools are taking this seriously and taking
Hmm.
the time. I hear schools tell me, well, we've got a great app that they use, or there's a
Yeah.
tutorial video. This is not something that people are going to learn in that process.
Hmm.
We're old school. We go in, we meet, we get in your face, we touch you, we have prizes, we make it fun and interactive and engaging. And once I can convey to you that this is not super complicated, it's something that you can get your arms around, and we are the biggest proponents of making sure you've got a financial advisor, a CPA, a great agent, a great attorney that's doing things for you. We don't want to have people thinking that they can do those things on their own at all.
Yeah.
But we also want to make sure that you, as the individual, know where they came from, how were they hired, what's their background, how were they selected,
Hmm.
were they vetted properly? And then once that's done, are you getting what you should be getting from them from a
Yep.
price standpoint and service standpoint? And then, okay, now that I've got all these people hired, how do I run this thing like a business? How do I conduct meetings? How do I have conversations with them? How
How
do
do
I,
I do action items? I
yeah,
love an action
yeah,
item because you need to hold these people that you hired accountable. Please
accountable.
tell these people, folks, to do an action item, please.
Exactly. And it's no different. We let them know, hey, you all have been drafted by Team XYZ, and you're here for a variety of different reasons. A, because you can play, but your personality came into the mix. There are a whole host of things that they've done in terms of background check on you to make sure that you're a good fit to be here and are going to add value to that organization. But then you can't just show up and say, okay, everybody go out and practice and games on Saturday.
No,
Be
it's not going to work.
coordinated. It's got to be organized. There's coaching and things that come together in order for that team to now be successful. And that is the same scenario that we try to implement for our folks as it relates to the people that are working for them.
Thank you so much for this conversation.
Thank you.
How
No.
can everyone tap in with all things EduCore? How can we follow you? Where should we go to get started?
So www.educore.com is where you can check us out go to our website and take a look at our information. We're also on social media. I'll give you our handles there in a minute. Again, this is
And I'll put them in the episode notes as well.
Great. We are on LinkedIn as well and on Instagram also. So a variety of different ways to be able to go follow us in that capacity, and I'll provide all that information for you.
Thank you so much. I appreciate your time today.
Thank you. Thank you for the conversation, and best of luck to you. I appreciate the fact that you're taking time and, the work that you're doing in the different topics to get information out there. I've seen some of your other stuff, and it's great things that you're doing and sharing with other people.
Oh my gosh. Well, I'm happy to spread the mission. Thank you again. Thank you so much for tuning into this week's episode of Operations Unfiltered. Don't forget, you can check out previous episodes of the podcast available on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, or wherever you get your podcast. Stay tuned for future updates.